So, hello everyone, welcome to Babylon Tom. Today we're going to make a short one about the current monkeypox outbreak in Canada and UK and all that. So, we have a current another pandemics. So, this pandemics is worldwide. So, they are identifying what it's about here. You can see the results of that. It's a big smallpox. I don't know exactly. I didn't research the effect of that. You can see on Wikipedia. I've looked at it fast. And well, it's supposed to be somewhat dangerous. And it happens directly in the same time that they're talking about uniting the various health agencies of countries through the WHO. So same thing here in Canada. So we had an outbreak in Quebec, and they've immediately purchased some vaccine. Same thing in the US, what they did. So we had that here. It's the first case, happened around the 15th. In the UK, there was the two first. Could have a massive impact on staff and forced to isolate. So we're gonna have another. If this unfolds, it's gonna have another pandemic. It's gonna be far worse than the coronavirus. And here they link it to the fetish festival in Belgium. That's what they do here. So you have. You have that here anyway. You can read that on Newsweek. So it's interesting because the prophetic scenario says that they're going to implement a Sunday law following a lack of morality. So to bring back morality is going to be one of the reasons why they're going to implement one. So if you go on this website here, and that you scroll down a little bit, right? So it was a run out for biological threat, bioterrorism, and all that. You go here on the report, go on page 10. What you have here that they wrote in November 21. So you have an outbreak here, May 15, of monkeypox in Britannia, right? Britannia, UK. So, so they it went faster than they thought. They thought it would take, 2 weeks. It take 5 days, not even. And they're in meeting right now to unite all the health agency to lose our sovereignty over the health measure we do in Canada, for example. And their scenario says that by the end of the year, we're going to have basically 1.2 million dead and 70 million cases. And look at that. So they're supposed to come out with a vaccine in September, is what I heard in the autumn. But they say here that the monkeypox engineered to be vaccine resistant. So it's the same thing than the first one. The coronavirus was invented in Wuhan, China. So by Fauci, funded by Fauci, a Jesuit. So it's the same thing we have here. If you go here on this organization, NTI, and you go in the board of director, you see that there's some Jesuit there. The former governor of California, you can see that he's a Jesuit. And so you have basically, it's far worse than the coronavirus. But within 1 year, their prediction, doesn't mean it's going to happen, but the prediction is 27 million deaths. And by a year and a half, it's going to be far worse. Half the population is going to be infected, and is going to be roughly a 10%, maybe a little less than 10% death rate, which is huge. And compared to coronavirus, where it was less than 1%. So this is what they're trying to do right now. So they're uniting the different national responses. So it's what they're doing right now. They want to give the power unto the beast. It needs to be centralized, and so the UN is the perfect vehicle for that. I've been saying that for years. The UN is a transnationalistic, non-sovereign, common good kind of organization, which is all papal doctrine and papal values. And if you want to have a global body of politics which control the entire countries of the world centrally, you needed a United Nations, and this is the scenario of the end of the world. And this is exactly what's happening right now. Through health, they're uniting the country. So I would like to come at chapter 36 of The Great Controversy here, which is the author Ellen White. I strongly suggest that you purchase this book, The Great Controversy. While appearing to the children of men as a great physician who can heal all their maladies, it will bring disease and disaster until populous cities are reduced to ruin and desolation. Does look like that, right? Even now is at work in accident, calamities, etc., etc., etc. He imparts to the air a deadly taint, and thousands perish by the pestilence. I've done a video on that concerning climate change. They're spreading sulfuric acid into the stratosphere, and it's very bad for our health. There were books written in that concerning this subject by David Keith, for example, which is a professor at Harvard and in charge of the geoengineering program in the U.S. and probably in the world. This visitation art become more and more frequent and disasters. Does look like what we're living right now. Destruction will be about both men and beasts. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitant thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broke the everlasting covenant. So what's happening right now is a forerunner to the mark of the beast, the Sunday law. And what they're gonna do eventually is they're gonna lead the population to an extreme with abortion and all that. They're preparing these crises. And I'm not for abortion. What I'm trying to say is that the point here is that the scenario's been they want to create chaos and conflict, and they did it in 1971 with the Roe versus Wade in the U.S., and it spread worldwide after that. And now we got to swing back the pendulum, right? The Christians are speaking back. And so in the Supreme Court in the U.S., they're all Catholics, they're all Jesuit, they're preparing the conflict. And so the conflict is now here, and people, of course, you have a strong feminist, pro-choice, kind of, pro-murder. I want to be aborted. It's not a murder and all that's my right. So you have this discourse, and then you have the Christians and all the morality that says this is a murder, and so you have a confrontation, and then you have these judgments of God, and then people are gonna turn back to God, gonna say, we gotta implement, because we've broken the everlasting covenant. We gotta implement a Sunday law to get back to God. But the Sunday was never an institution of God. It's an institution that was implemented by the Catholic Church in 538 A.D. with the Justinian Code that replaced the Sabbath of Saturday by Sunday, which is an institution of the Catholic Church. And you can see that even in their books in the Catholic Church, they're saying, the cardinals, the bishops, they're saying that the Sunday, if the Protestants are Protestants, they should not follow the Sunday. They should go on church on the Sabbath. And they even say that only the Seventh-day Adventist Church is a true Protestant church, because they don't follow under the dictate of the Catholic Church. So that's what they say. But right now, all the churches of the world are infiltrated by the Jesuits of the Catholic Church. So that's the short one I wanted to make today. So it's likely that if it is this scenario, I'm not saying it is, but it sure looks like it is. These visitations are going to become more and more frequent and disastrous. So it's going to be one pandemic after another, one deadly taint, one thing after one war after another. And then it's going to be, of course, when the judgment really starts to be serious and people are going to be waking up, it's going to be when you're going to have those big natural disasters, those big earthquakes, those big droughts, and those big, floods, and those big tidal waves, and it's going to be worldwide. We had some last summer. I think it's going to become more and more frequent. I think at some point people are going to wake up, going to say, it's God. This is from God, and then they're going to implement eventually a Sunday law, which will lead. The Sunday law is really the beginning of everything. It's not the end of everything. The real thing is going to be after the Sunday law, when the plagues start, because it's the end of the world. And so that's what's going to happen. If this is this scenario, and I'm pretty sure that is, those people are keeping in power. You see that they're not being thrown out of their office and nothing happens to them. They're all protected, like those governors and mayors in New York. They retired in New York. They retired, and in California, and nothing happens to them. They don't go in jail. They don't do anything. The real beacon of freedom in the world is the United States Constitution. It's been completely turned out with this COVID-19 pandemics, and that what they're doing, they're passing edicts and presidential orders and all that. We have the same thing here in Canada. And yeah, I think this is the scenario. We're not going back to normal, to anything to anything far from being normal. We're heading straight into the end time scenario, and we need to be prepared. I mean, I'm gonna do other videos about the Holy Spirit and faith and how to be prepared. I think that these things I'm gonna be covering less and less because it seems to be really the scenario. And yes, we need to look at the current events, but we need to focus more and more on how to overcome sin, how to overcome Satan, the devil in our lives, how to be prepared to be prepared where when Jesus is gonna come back, how to go to heaven. And so on that, happy Sabbath and God bless you.